Welcome to Small Business, Big Visibility. This is George Visger. He has a story like you wouldn't believe. I'm super excited for him to be able to share at least parts and pieces with us today. And I mean, his story spans decades, but NFL, football as a kid, overcoming all kinds of odds. He's run multiple businesses. George, tell us your favorite parts of your story.
My favorite part is the fact that I'm still vertical and standing and smiling after 9 brain surgeries. Boy, I don't know. I'm like, I keep telling you all along, but I've been blessed so many times along the way. I can tell you this, because of my brain injuries, I have 3 of the most beautiful kids in the world. They're great people. I met my first wife at a gym back in the 90s after all my surgeries, and I was struggling and angry, and the doctor said, "You need to join a gym." I mean, I was ready to explode. I joined a gym. I meet Christy there.
Wow.
And Stephanie, my oldest, was 2 at the time. They would come in together. I fell in love with both of them, especially Steph. And so because of that, I got married. Then as dementia and stuff really kicked in, I got worse and worse. I lost my business. I had an environmental consulting business for years. We lost our home in Grass Valley. The kids were homeless for 6 years. They lived with grandma, and I slept wherever I could.
Wow.
And then, after multiple, 4 more work comp hearing wins, 8 appeals, and 3 California Court of Appeals, I got into Center for Neuroskills, and I was living there in Emeryville, finally getting treatment. And I meet my beautiful wife, Jennifer, at a gym while I'm down there. So because of my brain injury, I have had 2 of the greatest wives, and Christy and Jennifer FaceTime each other and tell each other how much they love each other. And Christy's so thankful there's another mom to the kids, and Jennifer's thankful that these beautiful children that she has now.
Sure.
So probably my favorite part of the story is that, I've been so blessed.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick out anyone, but the fact that this is my life now, it's mind-boggling to me,
Yeah.
I mean, for years, I slept on floors and it was a dark hole I was in.
Sure.
I lived on $1,760 a month.
Wow.
On disability for years.
In California, of all places, right?
Yeah. And I watched my kids suffer. My son playing basketball in high school. My wife, at the time, Christy, would go, Jack doesn't want to say anything to you, but all the kids are wearing the same, tennis shoes are like $110. But Dad, she doesn't want to say anything to you. Hey, bud, what are they? Oh, that's okay, Dad. I'll wear my own tennies. I mean, my kids never asked for anything.
Wow.
So then when we finally settled my 38-year legal battle and finally settled, the first thing I did, and by then, Christy and I hadn't lived together for many, many years.
Sure.
Everything had fractured and divorce and all that. Well, yeah. And then as soon as we settled, I took Christy and the kids down to Toyota. Now, Christy's an elementary school teacher and was still teaching up in Grass Valley, an hour-plus commute every day.
Yeah.
And the kids were going to school. It was a nightmare. They'd leave in the house at grandma's house at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if the kids had basketball, whatever, they'd get home at 9 at night, wiped out. I would meet them at grandma's lawn and help them in the house. I mean, it was a nightmare. Christy had like 360,000 miles on her car. So I take them all in. And I talked to the manager there, and I said, here's the deal. I said, I want 4 excellent quality, low mileage, dependable vehicles for my family. And I wanted a Toyota Tundra, extra cab, because I'm an avid hunter and fisherman. Yeah. And I told him, I said, you work with me? I said, I'll write you a check. And I actually had an effing check in it. He looks at me. We're there for almost 12 hours that day. Christy was in tears. I said, pick out what you want. I said, you love music? Get one with a great stereo. Great. We got her in a hybrid, great mileage, got all the kids in. I said, Christy, you go back to school, get the very best medical coverage you possibly can. I said, I want everyone taken care of. You guys suffered because of my stupid injury. I shouldn't have drugged you through all this stuff. Was able to put my kids through college.
Yeah.
Amanda gave the commencement speech. Our clients talking about something. So Amanda, who had gone off on her own at 17, right out of high school, and this is when I was still homeless,
Yeah.
to New York on her own, immediately found a job, found an all-women's facility in Manhattan where she shared a quad with 3 other young 20-somethings. She was 17 when she left.
Yeah, right.
Worked there for a year, got her residency, enrolled in Manhattan Junior College, straight A's, worked her way, killing it, had 3 different jobs, never asked for a penny. None of my kids never asked. And then when COVID hit, everything, all of her cafe jobs imploded.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I said, just come home. I said, just come home. She came home, moved in with her mom. And then by then, my case was settled and she enrolled at Sac State and ends up giving the commencement speech about 2 or 3 years ago. She's already open. She got a degree in psychology and family therapy. And Lord knows we need it. Thank you, Amanda and God. And so she's just a great people. Jack, my son Jack, and my kids didn't want me to pay for anything. Every time I'd say, hey, what do you need? I said, well, Dad, we got it covered. And I'd always say, I said, I'm not paying. I said, Roger Goodell. I go, Raji and I are like, we're besties now. I go, he wants to pay for your car. They go, Dad, shut up. I go, come on, absolutely. Raji wants to buy you a car. So kids killed it. Jack just graduated just a couple months ago. 2.5 years prior to, he's got a degree in environmental technology at Long Beach. 2.5 years before he graduated, he went to a job fair, and this company hired 17 interns, something like that, 15, 17. Slowly kept him on. His last 2.5 years of school, he was working 26 hours a week, going to school full time. Scholar student, as soon as he graduates, vice president, they give him a pretty doggone good job.
That's awesome.
He's killing it. We love his girlfriend, Lily. They've been together since high school. My kid, Stephanie, started her own business.
Wow.
A few years ago, esthetician business. And she's actually going back to school. Now she's going to start doing some bookkeeping for a friend. So she'll get a bookkeeping license. And my kids, my favorite part is everyone's healthy. We're healthy emotionally. I'm back with Christy and Jennifer. The whole family's healed.
Right.
And I'm not talking the money thing. It's about the healing.
Yeah.
One of the things I say in my talks, so I speak all over the country, and I have a slide that shows ripples coming out of a rock in a pond. I say a traumatic brain injury is like throwing a rock in a pond. The ripple effect to the number of people impacted is huge. I don't even know.
Yeah, right.
So you can go home tonight and tell your wife, oh my gosh, I met this brain damaged guy. And your wife may say, well, our son's never going to play football. And then your son's, you know what I mean? And I don't know how far it goes. Or just people hearing about me, whatever. But it's not just like a broken arm that heals up. It's a lifetime deal, something you deal with.
Right. Yeah. This is something you carry with you forever now, right? Yeah. That's so amazing to me. Like, you've lived a life that most people couldn't imagine. I mean, playing at an NFL level, being on the field, that's something that every kid's dream.
Right.
Being on the field, being that guy, like, that is every kid's dream. To be able to do that, to have the medical that you've had as a byproduct of playing that, is something that most people, I don't think, could ever fathom. And then being able to recover from that. But then I think the most astounding is at this point, you're able to look back and see all of the good that came from all the darkness. And that's incredible.
I do motivational talks too. And I tell folks, God wants you. He wants us to do well, but he's not just going to give it to you. If you stay on the path, it will work out, but you have to do your part.
Right.
At some point in your life, when you're on that trail of life, you will stop and look back. And at the most darkest point in your life, you'll thank God, because now you would never be where you're standing right now Had that thing not happened,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Because that's part of the whole journey.
Right.
And it could have been a whole different turn way back when had I not been injured.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thank God every day for my injury. I have the most beautiful family. Jennifer, my kids, Christy. I mean, I'm living a dream.
Right.
That was a nightmare for about 40 years, but
you made it through. And now the impact you're having, right?
See, and that's the best. And it really wasn't a nightmare. I had a great life. I mean, if I were to go tomorrow, I've had a great life.
Sure.
I mean, I did all
the challenges, though.
Yeah,
challenges.
But when I tell people, again, in my talks, everybody has a cross to bear.
Yep.
The most successful person in the world, you have no idea what's going on with his family or whatever. Everyone has a cross to bear. It's you can either let that cross flush you down, or as I tell people, you can pick it up and sharpen the end and use it as a sword and freaking fight your way to wherever you want to get. Use it. One of my sayings in my talk, and I have another talk that's titled "Whatever It Takes," and then big letters it says, "Using adversity to reach your goals."
Yeah.
Don't let it knock you down. Use it as fuel. Every time something negative happened to me, I picture out of a fire burning in my stomach, and that negative was a chunk of wood, and I'd throw it in there and just crank the boiler up.
Wow.
Something else negative. And it was like, knock me down. Okay, here I come. Knock me down again. I'm coming even harder.
Yeah.
Brain surgery. Okay, I'm going to study even harder.
Yeah.
And I use that stuff to get where I want to get.
Yeah. That is probably the single most powerful statement. If people could incorporate that, to use that adversity as the fuel.
As fuel.
Yeah.
It's like gasoline.
Right.
You can either let it douse you and burn you up, or you can put it in your own tank.
Yeah.
Right. And crank that engine up.
And I think you must have had that from a young age, because we were talking earlier and you were telling me about being a kid and being woefully skinny and slow. And yet by the time you're a senior in high school,
slow was not. I just reconnected literally with a guy that I played only 1 year in Pee Wee Pop Warner with.
And
then he played across town, Edison High School, and we battled each other. And that was back in the 70s. And then just within the last year, David Olivas, he was our quarterback for the West Stockton Bear Cubs, and he's a big-time elk bow hunter, which so am I.
Oh, sure.
So we just reconnected.
Yeah.
And just like yesterday, so he drew a tag out here this year. We're going to try to connect. And he wrote something like, "Hey, Clang, I can't wait to see," because my nickname in Pee Wee Pop Warner was Clang. I was so knock-kneed, the coach just said, "Geez, Visger, we can hear your knees clanging clear across the field." I was skinny, slow, knock-kneed, nothing going on, but I had the heart of a lion, and there was, growing up with two older brothers, man, there was nothing going to stop me from achieving my goals. And I've been lucky. I've always been very goal-oriented, so I don't know. It was just inbred. My dad was just, my folks were just as tough as they came,
But that whole mindset, like, you weren't gifted with a miraculous body at a young age.
No.
You fought your way into the NFL every step.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing story in and of itself, that so many people, like business owners, like, they'll just get pounded.
Yeah.
And they think, man, look at these other people who are successful. And really, it's that same story. I think they clawed their way just like you did to success, right?
My other saying I use even more than anything else is, I've always said, hey, whatever it takes. Does it take me working 90 hours a week to get this project done? Then let's do it. Does it take me working out, 5 hours a day? I used to wear lead ankle weights to school in junior high.
Wow.
I would wear them around at camp, and then listen what happened. So one day in gym class, this is when I had to quit wearing them, and they're full of like thousands of little tiny lead BBs.
These little pellets. Yeah.
I'm in gym class in 9th grade. We're playing basketball. One of them pops.
Oh, no.
Thousands on the hard basketball.
Right.
You can't sweep them. you're just thousands of little BBs all over the court. They couldn't use it for days. They're trying to sweep and mop, and some are rolling over here. I'm like, oh, geez. You know, so I looked for like solid weight. I would tie rocks onto my ankles. I'd put them in socks or whatever. Yeah.
That is dedication right there.
I'm telling you, man, it was just like, I mean, I look back and I think the thing is, the way I grew up, I took for granted that everyone had the same mindset as I did. I just took for, it wasn't until I got older, especially when I started, I coached like 3 years in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at guys with all this talent. And I go, I can remember I had this one kid 1 year. Yeah, and I'm coaching high school at Christian Brothers. I coached 2 years at Christian Brothers High School and taught there in Sacramento. And this kid is just a stud athlete.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, big, fast, strong. And I watch him in this drill one day, and my favorite guy on the team, Joey Blecka, if you're watching this, I love you, brother. He was about 106 pounds.
Okay.
Tough, nails.
Yeah.
Would run through a wall if I told him I needed him. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
Gave me 110%. And when I coached years ago, I used to tell the kids, I don't expect anyone to be all American, all pro. I said, all I want from you guys is one thing. I want 100% in everything you do. I don't care if you're the last guy in the sprints every day. You'll be all pro in my book if you give me everything you have. That includes when I'm talking to you, I want 100% of your attention.
Yeah.
Just go balls out, and you guys are winners in my book. I don't care if we don't even win a game. I didn't care about winning. I wanted to. So I had this kid that was just a stud physically, a little Joey Blecka. Just lights him up in this drill and practice. And the kid comes back to the huddle, and I said, I don't want to use any names, but I said, whatever, let's say his name was Chris. I said, Chris, Joey Blecka, yeah, I know, coach. He's got a smile, and I go, doesn't that do off a little bit? No, I go, you shouldn't be happy that he did that to you. I wasn't like his head, but I mean, like, have some pride where that's never going to happen to me again.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just like, I've never really found very many kids like that. I know they're out there, but it was hard for me to coach because I expected the players to think the way I did.
Oh, right.
And it's tough. I hated to be beat in a single drill. I mean, as a kid, I can remember, get this. So I played baseball for like 9 years. I was a great baseball player, better than I was in football.
Oh, wow.
And I was all star every year you could make it, whatever it was, the last 5, 8 years, I guess. And so one of my memories of playing baseball, I'm pitching in Little League. I'm pitching in the Tournament of Champions. We won championship 3 years in a row when I was on the majors. I get on the mound. First pitch I throw, I still remember this creep's name, kid by the name of Greg Stores. Parks one on me. Over the fence, only home run I ever gave up in my life.
Oh,
To this day, I'm still pissed. I was throwing smoke. Going into the 6th and final inning, I had 15 strikeouts. I'd made every single out. Now, a couple guys walked, and one guy had and a guy grounded out. Sixth inning game, 18 outs. I had 17 strikeouts, and I'm still, and we won the game. And I'm still pissed out. Home run over the fence. But see, the thing is, I think the difference with me, because over the years, and I've got back with some of the old coaches, the Little League coaches, and the thing that was different about me is that if something went negative, it didn't break me. A lot of kids, oh man, I jumped off sides. They come back to the huddle like this.
Right.
No, I'm like, all right, you better focus.
Right.
You know what? So I would learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's funny, back in, I don't know, early 2000s, late 2000s, I got inducted into the Stockton Athletic Hall of Fame. I grew up in Stockton, California.
Right.
And I played 2 years of Pop Warner football. Coach John Gustorf, who won a championship. I played 3 years of Little League majors. We won 3 championships there.
Wow.
Then I played against him for like 7 years in basketball. He coached these great teams.
Mm-hmm.
He sees I'm going to the Stockton Athletic Hall of Fame. He writes me this really nice letter. He says, "Congratulations, George." He goes, "I'll always remember you." He says, "As a tough-nosed, hard-hitting, linebacker on the West Stockton Bears, and as a poor shooting, I was a horrible basketball player. I was the tallest kid team. I could not score if my life depended on it." He goes, "And a poor shooting, but physically, I would always foul out. Basketball player against my great St. Luke's team." He goes, "But my greatest memory of you," he says, "was watching you on the mound in Little League. And if a player got a hit off of you," he said, "the other coaches and I would look at each other and just go, uh-oh." And even just a single, I mean, the smoke would be coming. He said that was his fondest memory. This guy coached forever,
Right.
And I'm like, wow, people notice, coaches notice that. I'm just doing my thing,
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, memories.
Yeah. So with all that, and was that what gave you the fortitude to keep fighting all those years?
The way I grew up, my folks were just salt of the earth, hardworking, raised us right.
Yeah.
My old man never finished high school.
Okay.
Great big 6'6", 260. He grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and used to work on these ore ships that went over to Canada when he was in high school. And he was 6'6" in high school. He had just been offered, we have a copy of it, or we had it in the scrapbook. He'd just been offered a $1,200 contract with, they were the Boston Knicks before they came he was a great basketball player. Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. He lies about his age, drops out of school, enlists in the Navy.
Wow.
He was a gunner on LST 751. LST stands for Landing Ship Transport. And if you saw the movie Saving Private Ryan,
okay,
those little ships that went on, and well, landing ship transport was a huge one of those that would go right on the beach to Frontwood down low, and they would offload tanks and equipment. And
gotcha.
They had a crew of I think a little over 100.
Okay,
so it was big.
Yeah.
So he was on a ship, and then never finished high school. His ship was decommissioned at Treasure Island in the Bay Area.
Okay, after
the war. And my mom was living in Stockton. There's a lot of Lebanese there. So my mom's mom, Situ, we call her grandma. Situ means grandma in Lebanese. She came over from the old country, as they called it.
Oh.
Was married at 11. My grandfather was like 32. That's the way they did it over there.
Oh, wow.
And then they came over, and like I said, there was a lot of Lebanese in Stockton. And they had a little teeny tiny grocery store with an apartment above it. Situ raised 11 kids. My mom, one of them, right? And my dad, like I said, never finished high school. Met my mom, was serving drinks at a USO dance in Stockton after the war.
Yeah.
And as the old man put it, "Yeah, we heard the women over in Stockton were loose." And my mom was very Catholic, and she'd roll her eyes. And so he and some of his buddies would bust to these USO dances in Stockton, and Mom was pouring sodas. She didn't even like the guy at first.
Yeah.
So no refrigeration on those ships.
Okay.
So they ate just moldy stuff. It had out at sea for months.
Yeah.
Dad was 6'6", like 150 pounds. She goes, he was so skinny, and he was several years younger, a few years younger than my mom. He was too young. Dad fell in love with Big Rita. I call her. She was 5'3" at her peak, and went back to Michigan and told his folks, "I'm going back out to Stockton and marrying that gal."
Wow. And
they weren't too pleased with it. To them, Lebanese were,
Oh, okay.
And he came out and convinced Big Rita to marry him.
Huh.
They raised 6 kids in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 0 air-conditioned home in Stockton.
Wow.
With, 110, 112 degree heat all, summertime.
Right.
My folks are my heroes. My dad was a stand-up, and he worked hard. And then Big Rita, her mantra was always put it in God's hands. You kids need to just put it in God's hands. You worry and fret about stuff, And her second famous saying was, "Something good comes out of everything." And that's like one of the last page of my book.
Yeah.
It's like Big Rita, you always told us, put it in God's hands and something good comes out of everything. And it ends with something did.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, I've got my kids, I've got my marriage, I've got, because of this.
Right. And the impact you've had on the world at large.
And that's what I'm just getting started. We're going to hit the ground running when the book's out. So what I'm doing too is I'm telling folks, groups, high schools, post a link to my book. We'll donate 50% of the profits to if they have a brain injury recovery group of their choice or whatever. It's going to open people's eyes. It'll educate folks on ways to recover, non-pharmaceutical ways to recover.
Right.
Like I was telling you earlier, in 2010, 11, they had me on 4 different dementia medicines, anti-seizure pills, sleeping pills. I've gone up to 4 nights straight with 0 sleep.
Oh.
With inflammation in your brain, you can't shut stuff off. Even going fishing with my buddies this week, the first night I'm down, whenever it was, Tuesday, Monday, 0 sleep. The second night, we go to bed around 10. I wake up at 1.
Gotcha.
I'm laying there till 4:30 till we got up. And then the third night I'm down there, I actually slept till 3 in the morning. I mean, that's like typical for me. Get just a few hours of sleep a night, and that's my biggest battle. But I'm getting off track where I was even going.
but it is off track, but it's also not, because like where you've been, and yet you're still doing all these things with all of those battles, and you're showing people a way. Like these other people who have said, "Oh, I've been hurt, I've been whatever," and they give up inside. I don't know of very many people that have survived 9 brain surgeries and are still able to go fishing.
Yeah, I know.
And write a book and still go out and still make an impact.
And actually, I've lost a few friends along the way. If anyone's familiar with, which most people in the country are familiar with, Kuiu, the hunting garb, you'll see Kuiu.
Oh, okay.
Big time hunting, fishing company, huge. So Jason Harrison founded the company. Jason played at the Niners 95, I think, just 1 year in a practice squad.
Okay. And
1 year on the Broncos practice squad, 96. And then went on, got into commercial real estate, and then founded Sitka Gear, built that up into a multi-million-dollar business, sold that, founded Kuiu, built that into a multi-million-dollar business. He was an old hunting buddy of mine. He was in the Yukon with Trump Jr. They killed giant Dall sheep.
Wow.
Just a year or so. He was a hunting buddy of mine. He called me up a few years ago, told me, "George, I took a shotgun to bed with me last night." He kept telling me, he goes, "I know I have CTE." I said, "Hey, so do I. I know I do too." I said, "But we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Here's what I do." So he tells me he took a shotgun to bed. And you can Google Visger, Harrison, Channel 13 News, pull this story they did on me right after Jason passed. And so I'm driving when he calls me. I spin around. I go, "Meet me down Hyven Barrett Clinic." I was getting treatments in Sacramento, and I was living there. Mike Greenhall, my brother Mike, I call him, treated me. The travelers paying after the 40th treatment. Mike treated me 123 treatments out of pocket.
Wow.
$250 a pop.
What a guy.
And let me sleep on the floor there for 2.5 years. And while I'm living on $1,700 a month disability, multiple times, my family's up in Grass Valley going to school.
Yeah.
Multiple times she'd say, "Hey, doesn't Jack have a basketball game, or doesn't Amanda have a softball?" I go, "Yeah, I didn't have any gas money." He'd go, "Here, he'll hand me a $100 bill. Go see your kids." And he has she passed, quadriplegic daughter on a feeding tube that he had to took care 24 hours a day. His wife left him after Jessica was injured.
Wow.
Took care of her for years.
Yeah.
Had his own handful.
Right.
Brother Mike, I call him. I love the guy, Mike Greenhall. It kept me going. And so he just kept treating me. He goes, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry." Never said, "We'll scorpion, just don't worry about it. I want to see you get better."
Wow.
And so I'd go up, be able to see my kids on occasion. And but because of that injury, I meet Brother Mike. When we call, "Hey, Brother Mike, Brother George." I mean, literally.
Wow, yeah.
And he ended up, when Jennifer and I were getting married, I told him, he goes, "Hey," he took some class or certificate. He goes, "I'm an ordained minister. I can do you." he did our marriage in Jennifer's folks' backyard 3 years ago.
Wow.
It was awesome. It was awesome. We had my 3 kids there.
Mhm.
We had Jennifer's brother and his family, and Jennifer's folks, and Mike and his wife.
Wow. So cool.
It was awesome. Oh, and then we had Jennifer's aunt. Sure, she came out from Florida.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
Brother Mike did our ceremony. It was the most beautiful thing in the world, man.
Too awesome.
Isn't that? But see, I wouldn't have met Mike.
Right.
Wouldn't have my kids. Wouldn't have met Jennifer.
Yep.
Wouldn't have met Christy. You know what? It's all how you look at things, you know?
Right. Yeah. And we were talking earlier, and you were telling me stories of you being able to speak to groups and then people coming up afterwards.
Yep.
My son needs to talk to you. My so-and-so needs to talk to you. This person, they need to talk to you, and making yourself available and to that. Right.
We just got a phone call a day or two ago, and actually just started texting this woman. So we got a phone call from a friend of ours, a realtor who contacted Jennifer. She says, "Hey, I can't remember if it's sister or a friend whose husband's in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had multiple IEDs and things like that, and EBI. And all of a sudden, he's starting to, with her sister, and looked like, oh my gosh, won't talk to me for days. You know, things are going on." She said, "Will you be willing to talk to him?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
I said, "Absolutely." So we're going to actually tie that in. I told her I'm busy today till this evening, and we're going to coordinate it. So I'll hopefully be talking to him tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, suicidal.
Yeah.
He'll disappear for weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving loved ones behind. Nobody knows what's going on with the guy, you know?
And you just never know what one of those conversations is going to ripple out to. Like you said earlier, that rock in the water, right?
Yeah. I mean, that thing like with Jason, it just kills me. I just, wonder, I should have, I got really busy with the lawsuits and I should have been calling and checking on him more,
But yeah.
And then another one too, June 2nd of this last year, I'm standing in Silver Creek, Idaho, fly fishing with one of my old Colorado teammates, one of my closest Colorado teammates where I played football, Brian Rodeo Bo McCabe. So Rodeo Bo, we were like the mountain men on the team. We were the hunters, fishermen, and Bo played linebacker directly behind me.
Wow, okay.
So my job was to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure all the big tackles didn't get off the line of scrimmage without me getting a piece of them.
Right.
So Brian could make tackles. That's the way our defense was set up.
Uh-huh.
And oh gosh darn, 5 or 6 years ago, and he was living in Seattle. And he was right by another one of our old teammates, Pat Dunn, who Dunn and his wife were just out here 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
He and Ginger. And I'm still tight with these guys 50 years later. They're like brotherhood. And so Rodeo Bo and I are fishing. Oh, no, we're in Seattle. I'm up there visiting those guys. And Dunn and Rodeo live by each other. So I'm having dinner with Pat and his wife, and Ginger and Rodeo and his wife, Lisa. I'm sitting right across from them at dinner. Rodeo starts to give me this weird look,
Mm-hmm.
Well, before games, we had this little thing where I wouldn't say a word. So much of the game is mental preparation.
Yeah. Sure.
And so, before games, everybody gets ready differently. Some guys have headphones on, they're rock. I like to just sit there and I would just rock and I would just picture making plays. And so I would just sit there like this, just getting pumped up. And Rodeo used to sit right across from me and he'd tell me, I used to get so fired up watching you, get mentally ready. And he said, I would just be watching you, So we're at dinner, just a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, whatever it was, up in Seattle, and he starts giving me the look, right? And I don't drink. I can't drink because of brain seizure. I had to quit back in 82.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bo and Don, they've been drinking that night, right? And so he's giving me the look. And so I'm just like this. I'm just looking at him like, oh, yeah. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just going, yeah. just like this. This is all I would do before games. Like let's go. I just kept saying, let's go. And well, unbeknownst to me, he was having a stroke.
Wow.
Right across from me. So we all go home that night, and then Lisa calls his wife later on. She goes, George, we'll take him right to the hospital. We think he's having a stroke. Had a stroke.
Wow.
He was a very successful businessman. He was in land development and all that. Can't read now. You know, trouble walking uneven ground.
Sure.
So but he's still my hunting and fishing buddy. We built muzzle loaders 2 years ago, and I took him up elk hunting. He's never shot a big game animal.
Okay.
I've had him out duck hunting, goose hunting, trout fishing. We're trapping wolves now. We got a wolf trapping certification. I go, hey man, we're being mountain men again. We're trapping.
Yeah.
We haven't caught any yet. So June 2nd of last year, Rodeo and I are standing in Silver Creek, Idaho, fly fishing. He's right next to me. We're like knee deep because he has trouble with the down. We're casting. I get a phone call from Mark Davis.
Okay.
So Mark Davis was one of my Pop Warner high school teammates.
Gotcha.
We played on one of the greatest high school teams in the history of Northern California. My team, we nicknamed ourselves the Family my junior year.
Okay.
We had 51 kids in the team, and almost half of them were from single parent or zero parent. So Mark Davis was one of these two identical twin linebackers we had. 17 foster homes I grew up in. 17. When their dad used to beat the mom, drugs involved.
Right.
Mom ran with the boys when they're like 5 or 6. And dad tracks her down, beat in front of the boys.
Yeah.
She goes out in the garage, kills herself. Little 5-year-old Matt goes out there, finds her. Dad goes to prison. Mom gets buried. Boys go into the system. 17 foster homes they grew up. The toughest guys I've ever met in my life. Skinny. All they did was bench press. They had skinny legs, big upper bodies, and they went crazy. And we lifted a lot in high school. Tough as nails. They were both our linebackers. So Mark had called me. So this was a year ago last June. So probably 4 years prior to that, and he'd been battling all kinds. He went through chemo and all kinds of stuff. He'd always struggled.
Yeah.
And he says, man, Fisk, my brain's all effed up. I said, so is mine. But here's what I do, brother. Here's what I do. So we stayed and I was always talking with him, keeping things going. And man, June 2nd, while I'm fishing with my brain damaged college teammate, get a phone call from Mark Davis. Hey, and I used to call him Marky Poo, Hey, Marky Poo, what's going on? I hear this strange voice. No, George, this is Sean, his son. And I go, yeah? And I never met Sean. He goes, my dad hasn't been answering the phone the last 2 days. I came over here. He said he killed himself. He's sitting in the recliner with his phone in his hand. I see he's been trying to call you.
Oh, wow.
This was just a little over a year ago. I mean, I've lost a few guys like this.
Right.
And then his brother, Matt, I'm talking to Matt that same day, and Matt goes off the rails. He promised me he wouldn't do this. Now I'm all alone, because they were identical. So they had nobody but each other.
Right.
Matt loses it. Psychotic event. Goes back to his apartment up in Susanville, California. Burns it down, trying to kill himself. Burns 3 other apartments. He goes to jail.
Wow.
He's calling me from jail every week. Of course, I don't need jail. I need help.
Right.
So I was calling attorneys down there and a DA, and I was like, listen, he's incredibly remorseful. He had some psychotic breakdown. Give the guy a break.
Right.
So we ended up working with the folks, and we got him out. He's back in Stockton now. I said, you need to be around some of the old gang.
Yeah.
I got a text yesterday from one of our old friends, Martha Keshore, one of the gang, her and Matt. George, hey, here we are, such and such. I said, man, this is what you need, Matt.
Yeah.
And then our junior high school team and Matt and Mark Davis are going into the Stag Football Hall of Fame on September 19th at a home game.
Oh, cool.
And they're going to retire Mark's jersey.
Oh, wow.
They led the team in tackles and just tough as nails. And so that's giving Matt something to look forward to.
Sure, yeah.
I said, brother, you got a lot to live for, man.
Right.
I said, and your story is so powerful. I said, you need to be up on the stage talking with me.
Yeah.
You could empower people. 17 foster homes, the stuff you overcame.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, serious.
Yeah.
You know? So I grew up with amazing group of people all along the way, people that have inspired me. I mean, amazing family. I've just been blessed every step of the way.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so incredible to me to hear, because people put athletes on a pedestal. That's the mindset. And yet you're on the other side saying, we are very human.
We're freaking knuckleheads.
We have problems like everyone else.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that you overcame, and everybody's overcoming these things. And that's what makes the greatness. Right.
And like I said, everyone has a cross to bear.
Yeah.
They're the simplest person in the world has stuff going on we don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, Jennifer, she has taught me so much about gratitude. And, you know, about, I'll start getting pissed off at someone doing something. She goes, yeah, but you don't know what he's been through. He has a line in one of her songs. She's a songwriter, musician, amazing songwriter. She has a line in one of her songs she wrote years ago, or my moccasins don't fit your feet. It's a great line. It's about, you know what? Meaning, you never walked in my shoes. This was years before she met me.
Wow.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
She wrote a song titled Warrior Drop Your Sword. She was right there with me when we settled my case in 2019. We flew down to Southern Cal. 2 years prior, the NFL $1 billion brain injury lawsuit was settled. And I'm still in a 30-something year legal battle with the Travelers on my work comp. So I was going to get a little tiny piece of it.
Yeah.
The way they had it set up was I qualified frontal lobe dementia, neurocog impairment 2.0, which was going to pay like $3 million. But the way they had it set up was all these caveats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You need to have 5 years to be vested in the NFL brain injury lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
Even though you only need 4 years to be vested in the NFL, even though the average career is only 3.2, 70-something% of anyone makes in the NFL is out with injuries and doesn't qualify for anything.
Amazing.
So I played 2 years, but the year I had 3 brain surgeries didn't count in the brain injury lawsuit because I was injured in preseason. So I was only qualified for 1 out of 5. So that was 20% of what I was supposed to get, right?
Yeah.
I didn't care. You know, my kids have been homeless for years. I was going to get my family back at home. Within a week of me being approved, the Travelers insurance company, who, you know, the work comp carrier for the miners that we've been battling for decades, within a week, they file a $615,000 lien on my NFL settlement, more than I was even going to get. So we finally go to court in October of 19. Now, I met Chris Asvar through a brain injury group. Sue Reeb introduced me. He's a work comp attorney. He's a stud. Sole source, younger guy, would just take on these big corporations and do what's right and get what people deserved. So Chris comes to me in 2014 or 13 even. He wants to look into reopening my case, but I hadn't settled it. When I won in 86, because I got stuck with the hospital bills for my second, third brain surgery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Letters on me for years. These were 4 months after the Super Bowl. I was given last rites during the third. They were 10 hours apart, 23 years old, no memory the next 16 or 18 months.
Yeah. And
my first recollection, all these hospital bills. So I had to hire an attorney. We win my case in 86. The Travelers offer me $35,000. I tell them to pound sand. I tell them I want what every injured employee has earned. I want my past medical paid. I want my future medical left open. And thank you again, God, because I've had 6 more brain surgeries since then.
Yeah.
And I said, I can no longer function in my capacity as an NFL employee. I don't call myself a player. I was an employee.
Right.
I said, they're obliged by law to retrain me in a field of work where I make, quote unquote, a comparable amount of money. If I was driving a truck, got hurt, employer would have to do the same thing.
Yep.
I said, all I want to do is go back to school and finish my biology degree. I had 4 years of biology at University of Colorado, but I was drafted by the 80. After my senior year, I hadn't graduated. So They agree. I go back to Sac State in 86. And I had 4 more semesters of chemistry, 2 of physics, 2 of pre-calc, and all this crazy stuff. I'm working construction during the day, and I'm bouncing at nights, just trying to survive, living in a cheap apartment. So I go back to school in 86. In one 10-month period, I have 5 more emergency brain surgeries, several grand mal seizures. I have a 50-minute grand mal seizure in organic chemistry the 3rd time I was in it because I had to drop out the first 2 with brain surgeries. Developed dyslexia, major short-term memory issues, like write down everything, anger management issues. And it took me 5 more years to graduate. I was 32 when I finished my degree.
Wow.
And reached my second dream as a kid. I was a wildlife biologist. And I did that for a few years. And then that was in 90. And in 93, that shunt blew out. I had my 9th brain surgery, went right back doing wildlife stuff. Got married like in 95, I think. So I taught high school biology, chemistry, environmental studies, and English language learner algebra for 2.5 years, and then back into the environmental stuff. 2003, I started my own environmental consulting business. And then in 2010 or so is when I kicked off the Visger group, the traumatic brain injury consulting business. I was still doing the wildlife stuff, but I was getting more and more vocal and more about what was happening.
Right.
With the NFL, more and more guys are killing themselves, guys I played against. I'm reading stories. I'm like, you know what?
Right.
All for the love of their money.
Right.
Yeah. And so I just, what? And then by then, 2011, I was diagnosed with frontal lobe dementia. And then the economy was slowing down. I had 3 other biologists working for me.
Oh, wow.
One in the office, and I had a gal in the office. It got to where I'd do I let everyone go, doing big projects, forgetting to bill them.
Oh, no, right.
Double and triple billing clients. My poor wife, Chrissy, at the time would go, "You working?" Oh, and I was doing, 16-hour days.
Right.
She said, "You're working all these hours, no money's coming home." I get there because the big contractors, the big developers, they'll string you out. You can put 30 days net on the bill. 5.5 months later, literally. Wow. They'll just bond around you. I was a nobody. $150 million project. My little bill's for $42,000. So they would string it out, and no money's coming in. We lost the home. We lost everything. Then I was diagnosed with frontal lobe dementia. I finally went on a disability, in 11, but I was getting just more and more about what was happening.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking more and more about it, I get a phone call from a guy by the name of Jason Lukasevich.
Okay.
From back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He says, "George, my name is Jason Lukasevich. I'm with Persky White and some other law firm. I can't remember, Persky White and something. Forgive me, Jason." And he says, introduced himself. He's one of their soldiers, He says, "we're looking into a potential lawsuit against the NFL on brain injuries." I said, "I'm your effing guy to talk to."
Right.
He goes, I'd like to fly out there and talk with you. So the firm he worked for didn't have the wherewithal to take on the giant NFL. So they tried to team up with Motley Rice.
Okay.
Motley Rice settled big tobacco years ago for hundreds of, whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
They had like 1,000 lawyers. They're huge.
Right.
So Jason flies out from Pittsburgh, flies into San Francisco. I'm in Sacramento, about 2.5 hours away. They drive up to my little office. He's got this attorney with him. They meet with me for like 2 hours and they leave. I'm like, that's weird.
Right, yeah.
Next day, Jason calls me from back east. He goes, "George, this is what we have going on." He explains to me more and more. He's like, "We're looking to a suit, da-da-da-da-da-da." He goes, "But Persky White and whatever it is, we don't have enough enough balls or whatever you want to call it, take on the NFL.
Right.
We're trying to team with these guys." He goes, "And if they don't take it," he goes, "I'm going to find someone." He goes, "Because this is the right thing to do." I said, "Jason," I will stand with you shoulder to shoulder. I said, I will do whatever you want me. I will fight with you. I said, these make their living off for the love of money, which destroys not just players, but the families.
Right.
I said, I will stand with you, whatever you want. So months go by, Motley Rife, big reviews. Their attorney calls me. Yeah, George, this is whatever the guy's name was. I mean, sure. Hey, this so-and-so, after much review, blah, 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 we just don't think we have what it takes to take on the 600-pound NFL gorilla, quote unquote. Motley Rice. I said, I'll do it myself. I called Jason. He goes, George, I'm going to find someone. This is the right thing to do. He did. He teamed up. He filed the very first NFL brain injury suit. 55 of us. I'm the 22nd named plaintiff. I was one of 7 guys. They flew back to the press club in Washington, D.C. the day Jason unveiled the suit. Guys, you know, at Hall of Fame guys speaking. I just stood up in front of 247 media from all over the world. We're there. 240. I just stood up, held up a SPEC scan from Amon's clinic, shows all the holes in my brain. I said, here's my reality. 9 NFL brain surgeries and 0 NFL benefits. What else do you want to hear? Yeah. You know, and here's my picture. Wow. Here's a picture of me in New York Times holding that thing up. I'll show you the picture. Sure. And so Jason filed that first suit, and then a lot of these other big firms started jumping on the bandwagon. Jason Lukasevich is the guy that did it.
Wow.
And he's another one of my brothers. I love him to death. Now, it's so funny when the book comes out because he did, and then he flew out and we're trying to settle my work comp thing. He flew out with another attorney.
Oh, okay.
To help on that day because it was just Chris. The day we met with the 8.5-hour mediation hearing, the traveler sent their top 7 big dog attorneys. 7
attorneys.
We were there 9.5 hours.
Yeah.
8.5 hours into it, the judge comes into my room. They want me to pay them $700,000. 8.5 hours into it.
Whoa.
Now, had we not settled in this mediation hearing, they were taking me to a full-blown jury trial 4 days later for work comp. Unheard of. A jury trial.
Right.
They spent millions fighting me over the years. Just since Chris opened the case in 2014, Chris Asvar. Like I said, we beat him in 4 work comp hearings, 8 appeals, 3 California Court of Appeals, just to get me into treatment. So the first time was for 30 days, Center for Neuro Skills. We won all that. They recommended 90. It was another 17-month win a hearing, win an appeal, California Court of Appeals. I did 90 days. They recommend a year. Another nuclear 1.5 year legal battle. And we did a year. Now this is costing them $1,500 a day.
Oh, okay.
So ching, 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 ching. And I'm getting better though. While I'm there, I'm working on all kinds. I'm doing psychiatric counseling about 3 hours a week for my anger stuff. I'm working on memory. I'm living there, you know, with people that I met some absolute heroes.
Yeah.
I've had people in there in wheelchairs, feeding tubes, diapers, and I watched them literally after a few months, all of a sudden, you know, they're out of the wheelchair and there's a kid there, Tristan. He came in toward the end of my stay. Young African-American kid. I think he was like 20, if even that. And he had a little 1.5-year-old baby.
Oh, wow.
His girlfriend used to come with a baby. And he couldn't even walk. He had, I don't know if it was a car wreck or a tumor or whatever. So couldn't walk, couldn't talk, you know. And so, and we're in the Center for Neuro Skills big old office, and I'm coming around the corner one day. So like you would be in one room for an hour and then down the hall, you know, physical therapy, then occupational therapy. So I come around the corner, and here's my man Tristan. And he played high school football. So we were always, he'd get a couple of words out, you know, and he heard I played football.
Yeah.
I come around the corner, first time ever, he's standing up. And there's a counselor, whatever, on each arm, and there's one behind him. And I look at him, and we're like, you know, 20 yards apart. And I go, so look, and I get down on my stance. This kid, and he starts leaning over. They go, no. And he leans over. They're holding on him. He gets his hand, and I come running down the hall. Like I'm going to hit him. And I pull up and I grab him. And you know what he says? I love you.
Wow.
I watched this kid start walking.
Amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And we would talk more and more every day. So I'm like, hey, just like when you're practicing, man, short, choppy steps. I give out little wristbands in football, and I use these in my talks. In football, the term short, choppy steps. You want short, choppy, powerful steps, blocking or attacking. You take a big, long stride, I can push you over the finger.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all about balanced feet, shoulder width apart, short, choppy steps. I go every day, man. A little teeny get better of this much.
Yeah.
Little short. And so then it got to where he was talking, and
cool.
I would ask him questions about him playing, and his wife, his girlfriend and baby would come in, every day or two. And I love these people.
Yeah.
I literally love these people. These folks are heroes. You see these knucklehead billionaires and slapping their lips about stuff, and all actors and, athletes, people put up on pedestals.
Yep.
They should see some real heroes.
Yeah.
Military vets.
Right.
Coming back from stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those guys and gals are heroes.
Yeah.
You can get me going. I spoke at a Senate hearing one year for the California Brain Injury Association for, there was another bill they were trying to pass for, and they have all their speakers and doctors and senators and all that.
Sure.
And then those of us that were going to, you have like a 2 or 3 minute spiel at the podium, right?
Okay.
So I have my little quick little in my hand, what I'm going to talk about. Right in front of me is a woman waiting to get up the podium, holding her husband by the hand, and she gets up there. She says, and I taught high school, for 2.5 years. I know what it's like teaching.
Yeah.
Bazillion hours, very little money in return. You do it because you love it.
Yep.
She gets up there. She says, I taught elementary school for 19 years or whatever. I love it. My husband, I think he was in the military, brain injury, and she goes, now, she said, I had to quit my job that I loved. She goes, now when I can she goes, I have to have 24-hour day care in the house.
Wow.
She goes, when I can substitute, I have to hire someone else to come in. She says, by the end, but when it's all done, she goes, I make about, $1.19 an hour. I get up to the podium. She shuffles off with her husband, take my little speech. I look at the senators and congressional folks. I said, you folks ought to be ashamed of yourself. I said, you sit behind your fancy desk, drawing 6-figure salaries, taking 4-month furloughs and all this other crap. Well, people like this poor woman who's teaching our children and her husband, they can't get benefits. I said, shame on you all. I said, and then I sit down, right? And I probably maybe had a couple other words in there. So I'm sitting there, still in the Capitol there, Sacramento. A few moments later, this woman comes up, hands me this piece of paper, says, Mr. Visger, Senator Ted Gaines wants to see you in his office after the meeting. I said, you're right, he wants to see me. I go upstairs. He's in his office. I go charging like this. I said, you guys better go, no, I'm on your side. I said, you better be on my side. I said, I can bring down bad PR on you. I said, Google my name. There's 50 pages on me. ESPN, NPR, CNN. I could call them up right now and tell them what you people are doing to folks. I said, you better be on my side. He was on my advisory panel for a while. Thank you. You know what, though? And so, that's been the way I've had to I've just fought. I'm a warrior. And a saying I always used to say, man, it was like, go to get a prescription. I can't tell you how many times over the years. Go to get my anti-seizure pills. Been on them forever. All of a sudden, they're starting to charge me. Oh, no, this is my work comp. And, the gal, Sarah would, oh, no, well, Travelers called. They said they're not paying anymore. Okay, they would do that to me multiple times over the years. They're not paying. And most people just go, okay, they fold.
Yeah.
I learned how to play their game. I had my claims adjuster who was back in Dallas, Texas, on speed dial. I go, oh, really? Not paying? One moment. I step out of line, hit my speed dial. Whatever his name was, Dennis. I get a voicemail. Yeah. Hey, Dennis. Yeah, this is George Visger. I said, I know you know who I am. I go, the brain damage 49er out in California. I've just been notified by Rite Aid here that you and the Travelers have now taken over my medical management. So please call Rite Aid and myself and let us know who's who's financially liable for me when I have a grand mal seizure driving home tonight and kill somebody. So please let the Rite Aid know and let me know now that you are now managing my medical management. Thank you very much. You know, when I hang up, sometimes I would hardly get home. Rite Aid called, hey, George, they just called it and approved your. Oh, what a shock. Sometimes it would be a day before, you know, whatever you got to it. But you know what? It's a game to them.
Right.
If they only got 10% of the people to go, oh, geez, we're not paying anymore to pay out of pocket, they're making, the Travelers grossed $26.2 billion the year I beat them.
Whoa.
The NFL grossed $19 billion. They're 50% bigger than the NFL. $26 billion.
Amazing.
Again, when I always go back to my talks, when I'm doing my talks,
Yeah.
I'll say that. People are going, holy cow. I go, sound like a lot of money. Picture this, and this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
1 million in $100 bills is a block of bills 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 2 feet tall.
Okay.
That's 1 million. 1 billion is a room 16 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 8 feet tall. Now go up 26 stories of $100 bills. That's what the Travelers grossed a couple years. It's been 2 or 3 years, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Picture that, a building 26 stories tall of crisp,
Fresh new.
fresh $100 bill.
Right. Yeah.
And they can't pay for my prescription.
Right.
But if they did that to 100,000 people,
Yeah.
and they're doing them out of even $10 prescriptions a month, do the math.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, do the math.
Yeah.
And they just try to, they're like the NFL. They try to grind you down. We have a saying in the NFL, trying to get benefits. It was delay, deny, and hope they die. That, you know what, guys would put in horrible injuries. For years, they would get denied. Well, you can do this. You can do sedentary work. You can, and they'll just string it out forever.
Yeah.
It's the same business model.
Wow.
But
well, it's got to be feeling really good at this point. Maybe making some headway.
Oh,
right.
Right. And so then get this. So, again, going back to probably 2010, a lot happened.
Yeah.
So the NFL, there was a lot of pressure on them. Mm-hmm. If you ever saw the 60-minute special with Dr. Ira Casson, he was the NFL's head of it was called the Mild Traumatic Brain Injury Group, which I took great offense at.
Mild.
How do you have a mild traumatic brain injury?
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like mild cancer.
Right.
So 60 Minutes had Dr. Ira Casson on. You can Google this. They're interviewing him. You mean there's no correlation between repeated head trauma and brain injuries in the NFL? Nope. 26 times he answered no. So we nicknamed him Dr. No.
Yeah.
There was a website, Dave Pear had this, he was a all-pro defensive tackle with the Raiders, and he had a website going, a blog. Yeah. And so the guy running it, we nicknamed, Ira Casson Dr. No. And no, it's just a smug look. No. I mean, I want to kill the guy. So a lot of pressure. So all of a sudden they got rid of him. The NFL was smelling lawsuits coming up.
Sure.
And they hired this Dr. Rich Ellenbogen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who Rich Ellenbogen is. All I know is if the NFL hires him, he's my friend.
Gotcha.
So I post a letter on Dave Pear's blog to Dr. Ellenbogen. Don't know him from squat. I write, Dear Dr. Ellenbogen, I pray that you're a man of principle and character and not another paid for by the NFL owner. I said, or you'll have blood on your hands and you'll burn it like each other will. Mm-hmm. George Visger, 9 NFL brain surgeries, 0 NFL benefits. 2 days later, I get a phone call. This is George. Yeah, George, this is Dr. Rich Ellenbogen. I go, what do you want? I just want to call you and tell you I'm in no way, shape, or form affiliated with the NFL. And I get, hang up. A day later, he calls me back. George, Dr. Ellenbogen. I go, what do you want now? He says, I've been reading up on you. He said, you've had 9 emergency VP shunt brain surgeries. I said, yeah. He said, you finished a biology degree during brain surgeries 4 through 8? Yeah. He said, you're a wildlife biologist, I'm a consultant. He said, it's a miracle what you're doing. I go, yeah. He goes, do you realize we have a 50% failure rate with shunts? And I go, well, 8 of mine have failed. He goes, no. He goes, 1 out of 2 people that only have one never return to full cognitive functioning.
Oh,
I'm like, he goes, it's a miracle what you're doing. Now we're warming up, right? It's like, okay, we have a decent little conversation. Hang up. Calls me again 3 days in a row. George, this is Rich. Now we're on first name basis. He goes, I want you to do me a favor. This was 2010. I can picture the date on it now. So he goes, George, this is Rich. I want you to do me a favor. He said, I'm meeting with the NFL Rules Committee in 2 weeks. He said, I want you to draft up suggested rule changes to reduce brain injuries in football, and I'm going to present them to the NFL Rules Committee.
oh,
Google the Visger Rules Sports Digest. They got a hold of it and published a 3-page story. It has all my recommendations. I had things like everything from have players on prophylactic levels of omega-3 fish oils, all simple to do.
sure.
They'll ameliorate inflammation immediately, put hyperbaric chambers in every locker room. It's been shown traumatic brain injury, if you get them in with the first 24 hours, concussions, most people return to full cognitive functioning within 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I'm crunching numbers. I go, tell the owners, you have a guy with a concussion out 3 weeks. I could put him back on the field quicker. I didn't give a shit about that. I wanted to see these guys healthy.
Yeah.
I had everything from that, from techniques, start all linemen in a 2-point stance. Kind of position block instead of starting off with your head. Penalties for, and you can look and see, move the kickoff. They have every year they implement more and more of my suggestions.
Wow.
They've moved the kickoff, penalties for head-to-head contact. It doesn't matter what, if it's intentional or not. It's a 15-yarder. So now guys are learning not to come in with their head.
Right.
They have implemented a bunch of my suggestions, and every year more and more. And that came out, and I want to say, so if you Google the Sports Digest, the Visger Rules is the name of the article, and I think it's in 2010.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that I'm hoping to keep doing, and I hope this is my legacy. And I hope my legacy, I don't have to be a legacy for another 40 years, but, so these are things I'm passionate about,
Right.
I mean, by the grace of God, I function well. And I think that, this is what he wanted me to do,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now tell people about the book.
Oh, so the book's coming out, didn't even start as a book. It started in 2010. When you go to see a doctor and you got to fill out
Right.
for me, it's like, I'm going back to broken this. And
Right. You were writing a book just to go see the doctor.
So what I did was one day I go, I'm going to pre-write everything and just, print it out. And that way I can just staple it to the back. So as I'm writing it, it's like, So first concussion, third year Pop Warner, West Stockton Bears. And I wrote, we won the championship, played in the Gold Nugget Bowl. I was captain. And then, this injury, we won this. And all of a sudden, I'm putting all this stuff in. I'm putting things around each injury. And I'm like, man, that's the beginning of, I had like 30 pages. That's the beginning of a book. So I kept writing and writing and writing. 10 years ago, I had 510 pages that I sent to publishers, and they're like, what, a story, but you can't publish it. I said, why? They said, there's no ending. Nothing had been finalized, right?
Oh, right.
So they go, and I've talked to writers, they go, you write a book, you start at the ending, then you work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So like, all right, it just kept going. And once Asvar got a hold of it, once we settled it, and so for years, I used to say, I'm just tired I want to drop my sword. Every time I go to get a prescription, it's a fight. To go see a doctor is a fight. Remember where I parked my truck is a fight.
Yeah.
I go, I'm just sick and tired of fighting. I drop my sword. So Jennifer wrote a song. It's called Warrior Drop Your Sword, which is the most beautiful song. She wrote it and recorded.
Yeah.
It has a quote in there from my mom. Your mother always said that goodness would prevail. It's beautiful. It's all about my battle.
Yeah.
She was with me the day we settled. October of 2019, we flew down to LA, 8.5 hours into the mediation hearing. And then when we finally settled an hour later, and we stepped out of that building, and I told Jennifer, I said, you know what? And it's like I said, I just stuck my sword in the goal line.
Oh,
We
wow.
scored.
Yeah.
Game over. And then it was game over. And now it's like the brand new game. This is the real game starting for me.
Yeah.
Helping people with brain injuries, spreading the word, you know what, empowering folks. This is the real game I'm supposed to be in. So I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm 67 years old, and I feel like I'm just getting started.
Yeah. And book's coming out soon.
So it's called Facing Giants. I got sidetracked.
Yep.
So Facing Giants, my 38-year battle is the title.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be out of Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It was supposed to be out by the end of the month. I'm not quite sure if they're going to get it. It'll be out at all kinds of different bookstores. You can go to authorgeorgevisger.com to order or to book me for speaking engagements or whatever, and to get a whole bunch more information on the book if you just want to read up on the book. And you can also go to just georgevisger.com. We had 200 limited edition, personally signed hardcover copies that you could order at georgevisger.com, but those sold out. They didn't think they oh yeah, 200. Like I had those sold out long time. Oh my gosh. But you should have said 500, you know? But anyway, so authorgeorgevisger.com, and you can go to Barnes & Noble, Amazon very soon. And the title is Facing Giants, a 38-year battle. So the three giants I had to face: hydrocephalus, $19 billion NFL, and the $26.2 billion travelers. Those are the three giants.
And you overcame them all.
And we slayed them all.